Hey everybody, welcome back to Jeff Bull Central. I had an altercation with Emoji Head Jeff. He was really upset about all the hate comments that have been slung his way by certain members of this community. I don't need to name any names. I have no names to name. Don't worry about it. Anyway, things were said that couldn't be taken back. There was a fire that broke out, and Emoji Head Jeff is now burned down to this guy. This guy right here. This is the new Emoji Head Jeff, so deal with it! Anyways, we're going to talk about some video games today. As we are wont to do sometimes on this channel. I've heard a lot said about how the Sony presentation, the PS5 reveal, online reveal presentation thingy, blew Microsoft out of the water and basically has completely reset all the gains that Microsoft made over the last half year, telling me everything there was to know about the Xbox Series X. What it looks like, how it plays, what the games are like, all that stuff in one fell swoop, in 1 hour of broadcasted internet streaming electric entertainment. PlayStation wiped that whole thing out. That's what people are saying out there. And you know what? I don't agree completely, not in full, but I will say that Microsoft is now officially under the gun, because that Sony PlayStation conference, it knocked it out of the park. It really did. Now, I didn't like everything about it. If you'll remember from our last video featuring Emoji Head Jeff, who's dead now. He's this guy now. If you remember, I said that the cutesy factor was a little bit high, and you know, a couple other things about it, but Sony showed off a ton of exclusive games. Sony showed off their new console, and you could argue that it's an ugly console. But you could argue that the Series X is an ugly console. So it's like, it's ugly console versus ugly yellow meathead right now on the screen for you. Microsoft is set to do one more big reveal thing for the summer, it sounds like. Now, I have a feeling that information is going to trickle in all the way up until the launch of these things over the holidays, coming up in November-December timeframe. But this thing that they're planning on doing in July, if they don't rock this shit, and I mean really rock it, if they don't show me some amazing exclusives, numero uno, that's what they need to do. Number one, they need to bring the exclusives, and they need to bring them hard, and I don't know that Microsoft can do it, because let's face it, Sony just wins the exclusive race. They just tend to. You know, I don't have a dog in this fight. I actually have owned every single PlayStation and every single Xbox. I've said that before. I want to see both companies doing well, because to my mind, if both companies doing well, all of us, all the gamers, are benefiting. However, I gotta say, as much as I've enjoyed my Xbox One X over the last 2 or 3 years that I've owned it, the exclusive front has just been bang after bang after bang for Sony. And then on Microsoft, they have cool services like Game Pass that allows me to play their exclusives day and day launch, right? But the problem is that those exclusives are so very rarely what you would just call blockbuster exclusives. It's always like smaller stuff, or stuff that should have been much better but just wasn't. And you know, they own more you know, home studios. They've bought up more little platform guy studios than Sony has, and incorporated into PlayStation studios. And yet the quality of the games is just, it's not been in the Xbox One era, it's just not been up to par. The first party games. So I guess that's all I really gotta say. I think Microsoft is behind now, which is surprising because as recently as 3 months ago, I was saying this.
That
reveal was a an unmitigated disaster. It was bad. It was bad pretty much on every level, unless you're like a super tech developer person yourself. But I kind of don't feel that way anymore. I feel like they're under the gun, and I feel like this thing could really go in Sony's favor very quickly. So that's it. Like, subscribe, Jetboil Central.